Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for all of your love and support over the years. We know you all want to live a happy life and have a better understanding of yourself, so we've compiled a list of Abraham's teachings for you. Relax and have fun.
We think you should do what feels best to you. We think that you should do what feels best to you every time. We think you should do what feels best to you. But before you can really know what feels best to you, you've got to practice feeling pretty good. You can't go from suffering and jump right into even have any clarity about what feels best to you, because when you've been suffering, all the choices suck so badly that none of them feel good. So it just feels like a crossroads. It feels like two bad paths, and that's what it is. Those are not good choices. But when you have cared about the way you feel, so you're feeling good more and more, so then something comes along and it doesn't feel good to you. And Esther said, "But Abraham, I thought what you've been teaching me is that if I will unconditionally just focus on what I want, that the things I don't want will go away." We said, yes, that's exactly right, but you're not doing that. You're focusing on something that you don't want and then using words and writing 500 focus wheels about it. We're not trying to get you in alignment so that you can make conditions change, or so that you can change yourself to like the conditions. You were born with guidance, and it's all right for you to not like something. It's not your job. So let's say there's a condition that presents itself to you, and you bump up against it, and you bump up against it, and you bump up against it, and you write 500 focus wheels, and you're still bumping up against it because it is someone making choices that are not aligning with your path. But you don't give yourself permission, worthy beings that you are, to follow your own path. No, you feel like you have to be in service. You feel like it's your job to make this work out no matter what. No, it isn't. It's your job to follow the path of least resistance. So the source within you knows where you stand in relationship to everything you want, and knows the path of least resistance to get you to it. And you step over there way off the path, but your source is still calling you back and calling you back and calling you back. But it's as if you say, no, source, alignment, guidance, source, God, I need to do it the hard way in order to prove my worthiness. And we say, we want you to prove your worthiness by understanding what feels good. We want you to follow the path of least resistance. We want you to get on the path that feels good. It isn't wrong for you to choose this rather than this, or this rather than this. That's why you were born into an environment of contrast, in a world where everybody gets to choose. Where it gets squirrely for you is that you all sort of get together and try to define what everybody should choose. You all get to choose what you want. When you line up with what you want, you'll find the power to feel the fulfillment and the exaltation and the exhilaration and the passion and the success and the fulfillment that you're reaching for, you see. You got to let everybody else off the hook and stop beating up on yourself if you choose not to play with them. Others have taught you that selfishness is not virtuous, that looking out for yourself and doing what feels good to you will lead you to selfishness, will deprive others of something that they need from you. But what they've forgotten is none of them were going to get it from you anyway. They were all going to get it directly from source. That's their misunderstanding, and you perpetuate their misunderstanding when you try to be the source that gives them what they want, you see.
I am here because I am the unconditional love that's going to light up the room. I got a story, quick little story. In June, I was kind of depressed, and I get a text from my best friend. And she says, "I'm bringing you over a potted plant." So I read this, and I say, "I don't want a potted plant. I'll have to water it." So I texted her right back. I said, "Well, don't bring me a potted plant because I'll kill it."
Deliberately.
Deliberately. Because I don't water plants, and I always kill them. They always die. So you can forget it. So she texted me back. She said, "Everything dies." Anyway, 15 minutes later, there she is with a potted plant, with two potted plants. And she says, now this one's going here, and this one's going over here. And the reason is, I want this one in the front so that when people come by your house, they'll see something alive. They'll see something growing. And she said, and I want you to have something to take care of that's alive. So I thought, oh, I got to water it. And what happened over the next few days, I watered it, reluctantly at first, but then it got to be a little bit more fun. And then I knew she was coming over, and I said, oh, I better water this or I'll be in trouble. But like I say, I looked back at my text, and I saw what I had texted, because it's all there in black and white. And I said, well, who is this guy? This is Danny Downer. And I said, I'm shooting myself in the foot. This is my best friend. I care about this person. And look at what I'm writing. Who am I? And over the next couple of weeks, she gave me many opportunities, both her and her daughter, to see in a mirror who I was acting like. And I said, oh, I don't like this. So at that point in time, I said, well, I'm never going to do this again, ever. And I made a choice. And I said, no matter how I feel, I'm going to be happy. I don't care how I feel. I'll be happy. And so I started that. And since then, I've been happy.
So it's a big story, isn't it? It has a lot of pieces to it. And can you feel the piece about the power of influence? In other words, she didn't let your text to her control her intention around you. In other words, she was not put off by your deliberate intent to put her off. She followed her own impulse, which was inspired by her inner being and your inner being, not by you. She joined forces with everyone who's happy around you and didn't allow herself. She could have gotten her feelings hurt, but she didn't. She stayed focused upon who you really are and influenced who you really are out into the open where you could feel who you really are. So the most important question is, and of course, you've already given yourself away, but which of those emotions felt best to you?
The happy one.
And here's the next important question. Through it, do you realize that you do have a choice about which way you lean? You have a choice, and you followed the choice that feels better. You think you're going to keep doing it?
Yes, absolutely.
You think it's going to require someone else to lead you there?
No, I understand it now.
Do you think that your inner being is focused upon you just like your neighbor is?
Yeah.
Do you think you're fortunate to have a good friend like that?
Oh, I'm
You think
so
you're
blessed.
fortunate to have an inner being like that?
Yes.
Are you now aware that you have both?
Yes, the both. I like the both.
Thank you for stopping by to watch this video. Make sure to subscribe for the next video.